Hey YouTubers, it's Charlie. So this week for my Game of Thrones bonus video, I wanted to talk all about Braavos. Because we saw it in the episode 6 teaser, I thought it'd be the perfect time to start. And because we're seeing it for the first time on the show, what I'm going to do is talk about where it is geographically in relation to Daenerys and Meereen, as well as the major organizations and its role in the show. If you're just finding me for the first time, each week I do bonus videos for Game of Thrones in addition to, episode reviews and Q&As. Be sure to subscribe to get everything, and feel free to leave me suggestions for future bonus videos. First order of business, because some of you may have read the books, please try to be careful about posting spoilers in the comments, or at least use spoiler tags just in case people are only watching the show. So we don't really know how much the show is going to change from the books, but whenever I do post my review later tonight, I'll try to talk about any changes they might have made. So WTF is Braavos. If you've seen any of the trailers or the teaser for episode 6, then you've probably seen this guy, the Titan of Braavos. He's one of the 9 wonders of man, inside the show that is. So he's actually modeled after the Colossus of Rhodes. The Titan is such a symbol of their culture that he's even stamped on all the Braavosi coins, and passing beneath him is the only way for ships to enter the port city. Braavos itself is basically the most powerful of the free cities, and it exists way up on the tip of the eastern continent. You can actually see it on this map right here. Physically, the city exists inside a lagoon, on a series of small islands connected by bridges. Remember how Daenerys is in Meereen right now? She's way down here on the other side of the continent. It was formed about 500 years before Aegon's Landing from people fleeing the Valyrian expansion. It's nicknamed the Bastard Son of Valyria just because the people that colonized it were trying to hide from all the dragons. So it wasn't until after the Doom that Braavos really started to make itself known to the rest of the world. Because it's so critical to trade, the city's become one of the most powerful and wealthiest in the world. Thus the Iron Bank has become the wealthiest bank in the world. The most notable locations in the city are the Titan itself, right here, Drowntown, which is an area where the city has sunken into the lagoon, the House of Black and White, which is the temple of the many-faced god. There are actually temples to a lot of different gods that all exist in this area called the Isle of the Gods. So as you can see, the temple of Roller, Melisandre's god, is here too. Here's the Purple Harbor, which is really only used by the locals. It's near the Sea Lord's palace. He's the ruler of Braavos. Then there's the Iron Bank here. This is actually where the scene with Mark Gatiss from the episode 6 trailer takes place. There's Ragman's Harbor down here, which is used by most foreign traders visiting on business. And then there's the Temple of the Moonsingers. So that's actually the name of a religion, but they were actually the people that fled Valyria and found the site where Braavos is located right now. So they technically kind of founded the city. There's a billion different other locations you can see on this map that are all really interesting, so the next time the show does come to Braavos, I'll go into greater detail about some of these other different places. The most important location right now is the Iron Bank, just because it's the common denominator amongst all the biggest factions on the show. You cannot win the Iron Throne without a war or a marriage, and both cost a lot of money, which, as we learned from Tywin Lannister last week, no one has. Yeah, the Tyrells are wealthy, but most of their assets are in farmland. So the only way to get more money on the show right now is basically to borrow it from the Iron Bank. And just to give you an idea of how powerful they are, the Iron Bank is more powerful than all the other banks combined. It's mostly known for the way that it goes after debts, which is funny because, up to this point in the show, we've heard the Lannister motto so many times, a Lannister always pays his debts. Well, the Iron Bank's motto is, the Iron Bank will have its due. So because the Iron Bank always goes after its debts really aggressively, what happens is when, say, a king refuses to pay back his debt, the Iron Bank finds another person to install as a king and backs them. So potentially, if the Iron Throne does not repay its debt, its, massive debt to the Iron Bank might find someone else to install as king of Westeros. If that ever did happen, once they install said new king, that person still has to repay the original debt, or the Iron Bank will do the exact same thing and just find someone else to install as king. So when you think about it, the Iron Bank is really the most powerful organization in the world. Even the Iron Throne has to bow to them, which is why Stannis in the trailer almost looks like he's begging Mark Gatiss for money. The conceit being that Stannis might try to use the Iron Throne's debt to the Iron Bank as cause for them to back his claim to the throne. I don't really know how the show's going to deal with that plot, but I'm really interested to see what kind of terms they set for Stannis if they do end up loaning him money. And remember, if Stannis does end up getting a loan and does not repay his debt, then they'll just turn around and find someone else to install who will repay that money. Needless to say, the Iron Bank controls the flow of money, and therefore, it controls the balance of war. So based on that teaser for episode 6, it's really hard to tell which other places inside Braavos we might see, but here are a couple possibilities. In this shot of the Titan, you can actually see the Sea Lord's palace in the background. We might get to see some water dancers or, maybe a few Easter eggs for some of the other big places. Remember how Arya was practicing her water dancing for the Hound last week? Syrio Forel, who taught it to her, was one of the Braavos. Just one O in that Braavos. They're a group of people inside Braavos, the city. They're just a special class of fighters inside the city that developed that water dancing technique. They dress in really interesting, bright loud colors, as you can see from Syrio here. The wealthy people in the city, on the other hand, dress in really drab gray colors, as you can see Mark Gatiss, wealthy banker, dressed here. The interesting thing about being part of that, Braavos fighter organization is that anyone wearing a sword after dark can be challenged to a duel. It's all about finding out who that best fighter is. They just challenge each other constantly for bragging rights, as to best fighter in the city. So say someone like Syrio Forel probably had to fight people every single night, and because he lived to a pretty decent age, it looks like, it meant he was pretty badass. The place where most of them go to duel is the moon pool right here on the map, as you can see, right near the Iron Bank, so there is a good chance that we might get to see at least a background shot of it. Obviously, sex being a very big thing in the world of A Song of Ice and Fire, Braavos has a very strong tradition of courtesans, which hold a very, special place in Braavosi culture. They command really extreme prices, so just think of the amount of money a prince with, say, Oberyn Martell's appetites would spend, kid in a candy store. All the best whorehouses are either up here in the Purple Harbor or around the moon pool. So isn't it funny that all the best sex is right around the bank? I guess it says something about people's priorities. Yeah, sex and money, seems about right. I'm really hoping that we get to see more of the city this season just because it's so much fun to talk about. Of all the cities that the show has depicted, I would say that this is the best, with Marine being number 2, even though we haven't seen a lot of it yet, and King's Landing 3rd. Unless you want to count the Lands of Always Winter we saw in episode 4, that White Walker city looked pretty sweet. But now it's your turn. Let me know, what are you most excited to see in Braavos in this next episode? I know a lot of Doctor Who and Sherlock fans are just really excited to see Mark Gatiss, myself included. Given what we know about his character from the books, I'm really interested to see if he plays it more like, say, Mycroft, or if he's going to play it a little bit lighter. He essentially has the task of showing us what that motto means: the Iron Bank will have its due. So I'm expecting him to play a scarier version of Mycroft. So I'll be posting my review of the episode 6, after it airs tonight. Be sure to subscribe to get that. And I want to say a big happy Mother's Day to all the moms out there. Thank you very much for everything you do. Everyone be sure and call their mother, even if it's Cersei. Right now you can click here to catch up on last week's episode, and click here to get my Q&A. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys tonight. High fives.